Hey everybody, and welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
And I'm Dan, and I'm gingerly moving this Pop-Tart wrapper so as not to crackle it all over the microphone.
Oh, crackle everywhere. So we are a online video game news podcast broadcasting live on chipit.net, Chipit Radio, Fridays, 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. We're starting on time for the second week in a row.
We're on a roll.
This is a new day.
It's crazy. You guys don't even know how long it's been.
So yeah, we're on all sorts of social media like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Steam, which isn't really social media, but I'll call that anyway.
iTunes, which also isn't social media, but we're on there. We've got a backlog of shows, so if you like what you hear, there's more of that cute.
Yeah, check us out. And we also have an archive page on chipit.net, so check that out.
And check out some of the other shows on there, too. Have any of those other ones started?
I think Game Over has started.
Game Over has started, I thought, because I remember last time we talked about it was in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's
check out all the stuff on there. Support the website. It'll be great.
What are all the things we're talking about this week, Dan?
We got a little bit of Kickstarter news. We have a Kickstarter that's near and dear to my heart and doesn't look like it's going to make it.
It's not near and dear to anyone else's.
No one else's. Every time I bring this game up, nobody knows what I'm talking about. So, you know how I was complaining about Toe Jam and Earl?
Yeah.
And how I don't like it, and everyone has nostalgia for it? Mm-hmm. This game is my Toe Jam and Earl. Except, this game was good.
Oh, dip.
I will stand by that. We got some news about cloud gaming, a cloud gaming company that has departed.
That I didn't know existed to begin with.
Me neither. We got some news about MOBA games and how they are shaping up.
Yeah.
In the modern gaming climate. We have a ton of news about Nintendo.
Lots of bummer news about...
Lots of bad news about Nintendo. Then we have a little bit of stuff just about some random other games. Nothing too amazing as far as new announcements or anything goes, but tiny bit more information about some stuff. Some unfortunate news about some games that have released. We'll probably end with a little look at what games are coming out in the next week or two, what's being released. And if we have time, maybe a quick game review, but I don't know if we will. We'll see when we get there, and we're not going to talk about Spelljammer.
Why not?
I'm going to close that tab.
Never close the Spelljammer tab.
Everybody Google Spelljammer. You won't be disappointed.
Or maybe you'll be incredibly disappointed.
So, first up, we have the Kickstarter for Descent Underground. Descent is a game, came out back in the 90s on PC, on DOS actually. And it is a game where you fly a modified garbage ship with guns, and you are a mercenary hired to go into bases on various planets throughout the solar system and kill all the crazy robots that have gone crazy because a robot back on Pluto, big computer went nuts and started building robots to kill everyone and sending them everywhere else. So you're slowly just working your way back to Pluto and blowing up robots, get all kinds of lasers and power-ups and missiles and bombs, and it's got full three-dimensional movements. You're moving in space and you can go up, down, left, right, diagonal, forward, back. You can dip and dive and duck and dodge. The game was made to be played with a joystick. So playing it nowadays with a keyboard is sort of difficult. I actually got I got the original games off of Good Old Games, great website. I was trying to play them without a joystick, and I was having a rough time on it. They're really cool, though. If you have the means to play them, they're super cheap on Good Old Games, and, if you want a cool, space shooter, they're super neat.
I found my joystick the other day.
Really?
And then I was like...
I never owned my own.
Oh, well, I did. I didn't have any good games for it, but it was a sweet joystick. And I was like, I gotta hook this up, try and use it for something. And then I realized that its connector, won't connect with anything.
Oh, no. You were gonna say you should play Descent.
It's too outdated. Computers don't have those ports anymore.
So unfortunately, this Kickstarter was asking for $600,000. It was a Kickstarter for a new reboot of the game called Descent Underground. And they are at $344,000 of that, with only 7 days left. So they're at 57%, I think it said, of their goal, with a week left. They're not going to make it. Which is a real bummer. Because the game looks super cool. They're going to be building it with fully destructible environments, like inside of asteroids and stuff, and doing a big multiplayer angle on it, where you have like versus modes that actually like involve you like tunneling through the rock and like getting to each other and like setting up ambushes and things like that. It looks really neat, and I'm sure it'll have a story. I think it's supposed to have a story mode too, where you just fight robots. And they have multiple ships you can choose to play as. Like, it had all sorts of cool stuff, and it has graphics done with Unreal 4 engine. But unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to get funded, which is a huge bummer.
Yeah, the screenshots of this game actually look really cool.
They look super nice. I wish. Oh, the guys who did Crowfall and Star Citizen are like, we like Descent. Listen to them. Go give money.
You got a week.
It's not too late.
Next week we're gonna do an update on this, and it better be a good update.
It's not gonna be.
It's not gonna be.
I'm gonna be really sad. Also, unlike Goddess, it's coming out on PC, Mac, and Linux.
Oh,
and it's supposedly gonna have Oculus Rift support.
Sick burn.
So,
I like that Oculus Rift doesn't have like its own icon yet, so people keep making up icons for it.
Bad. This man wearing night vision goggles. Oh, this game supports night vision goggles.
Awesome.
Sweet. So, yeah. Check out Descent Underground. Even if this doesn't get funded, check out the other games. Check out Descent 1, Descent 2, and Descent 3. You can get a bundle pack of them on Good Old Games for like $10, and they're super good. Tell us about Cloud Gaming Company OnLive, Lex. What happened to them?
Have you heard of OnLive? I haven't.
I did.
Whoa, really?
I heard of them back when they got started. I did not think that they were still a thing.
So yeah, back in, for those who don't know, a little bit of backstory. Back in 2009 at GDC, they revealed a service called OnLive in which you would stream games via the internet, play them that way. Which
I feel like EA had something to do with this.
Now, this was something I did not remember, nor did I know about. And I actually find it super interesting because in the past year, that's what we've been hearing a lot of.
Yeah.
How companies want to do this. So I was like, oh, there was already a service for this? I didn't even know. Apparently, it launched. It was around for about a year and got really bad reviews because its games didn't stream well.
Right.
And then
I think that's the last I heard of.
Well, it shut down temporarily. I was reading up on Wikipedia. It shut down temporarily, and then, like, a few months later, it just came back. Because I guess they found investors or something.
Okay.
So they sort of
sorted things out.
Yeah, they sorted things out. They started it back up. They had some different subscription tiers, and then they just sort of kept on chugging. Apparently, they had a library of about 300 games or so. But again, like, people, since the initial launch, it didn't really work out so well. I don't know if the service was significantly better. Probably not, because people still didn't seem to care about it.
Yeah.
And now, all these years later, 5 years later, it's shutting down.
On April 30th, 2015, it's gone forever. This is from an article on Eurogamer, by the way, from, essentially, this is European date notation. So this is actually from today, April 3rd.
Oh, I thought it was from the future.
So, yeah, they're gone. Like you said, neither of us knew they were still around. So I don't know if this comes as a blow to anyone.
You could you could buy the games and then stream them, so you wouldn't have to worry about having the hardware to use them. And
so their return was only in last year in March, was when they came back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was much earlier.
No, it was in August 2012 that they were thought dead. They had a lot of layoffs. The founder left. They couldn't secure new funding, and then in March 2014, after 18 months of nothing, they came back with a new business model and a €9.99 subscription that let players play PC Steam games on any compatible device. But then it just didn't take off. And now a year later, it's gone. So, I mean, bummer for the people at OnLive. I question the viability of a standalone game streaming service that is not tied in with, like, a console, like, because Sony's going to be doing its, like, games on demand kind of thing, but that's tied in with the PS4.
I mean,
and all that other stuff. So I don't know how I feel about a thing that's just a game streaming service.
I mean, I guess it doesn't bother me if it was like an application, like software that could be downloaded on a PC.
Yeah.
But it would just have to work really well and be very cheap.
Do you think that Valve would ever consider adding that to Steam?
Oh, I think they probably have considered it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still not sure how viable game streaming is for the most part either.
Well, so that brings me to my main thing that must have been the downfall of this, and from what I've read, seems to have been, it just launched too early. It was ahead of the technology it needed to run properly.
Right. And with something like this, you lose people initially, you've lost them. Yeah. For good.
I mean, we were doing a story a while ago about Microsoft's streaming thing that they're working on called DeLorean.
Yeah.
And how they were like, oh man, we can run like original Xbox games like really smooth now.
Yeah.
And to think that they're still in, development of that. That's a long way off from coming out. But to think that they would in 2014 when we did that story, when they announced it, in 2014 they were just getting original Xbox and like some 360 games to run nicely streaming.
Right.
So when this came out in 2010, there's no way that it worked properly.
No. Not with the games that were coming out around then.
No.
And it seems like that didn't really... I mean, it may have changed when they came back, but I can't imagine it changed that much. Like, I can't imagine it changed drastically enough.
Now, Sony purchased a bunch of their patents. Because their thing is they had patents on cloud-based gaming for a bunch of different titles.
And Sony's been working on their own thing.
Yeah,
for PSN game streaming.
So it seems like Sony has sort of harvested the corpse of online so that they can strengthen their own streaming service when it it hasn't launched yet, has it? I'm like totally misinformed right now.
They've done like a beta thing of it, I think. Sony in July 2012 also bought a rival cloud gaming company called Gaikai for $380 million. And are using it to power PlayStation Now and Remote Play. I don't believe PlayStation Now may be active now. I remember when it was being tested out. Initial release. Yeah, the full release was actually in January.
Oh, okay.
So, PlayStation Now is fully up and running now. They're using this Gaikai company as, the intermediary for it. So clearly they wanted this OnLive stuff to try and improve their own streaming service. I haven't heard a whole lot about PlayStation Now, though, and how well it works.
We should look into that.
We should look into that.
Journalism.
Yeah. Speaking of journalism, here's another article.
Nice segue, Dan.
I know, right? So this is a article on gamesindustry.biz from March 30th about MOBA games and the fact, apparently, that they will be overtaking MMO games in the free-to-play revenue this year.
Okay, so that's the big thing to remember about all the stuff we're going to talk about in this article. WoW is not included in this.
Right.
Because
World of Warcraft is a paid subscription game.
Yeah. And
other paid subscription games are also not included.
Yes. Not that I know if there are any.
There's a couple. I think there's a couple.
There's probably a couple, but I can't think of them right now.
Is Elder Scrolls Online still pay to play?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Nope.
So that's a big thing to note before we get into this. But, so, EDAR, which is an acronym for something that I'm totally not finding on here, but they did some research into...
EDAR is the leading provider of video game research, sales forecasting, and business intelligence services.
Electronic entertainment design and research.
They were founded in 2006 by software veterans.
Who? We don't know. Veterans.
All those CDs gave them some serious PTSD.
So they ran a bunch of numbers on revenue from free-to-play stuff.
Like League of Legends and Dota 2.
But also shooters are included in this as well.
Those are the big two.
And they were like, oh, this is interesting. According to these market trends, MOBAs are growing rapidly in terms of, like, so microtransactions and stuff. They're making far and away... they're not making far and away the most money, but they're making the most money, and probably in the next year will be making far and away the most money.
Yeah.
They tracked it from 2010 until this year, and you have in 2010, MOBAs are making very little. Very, very little. What is
MOBAs
that?
1 million a year.
Versus free-to-play MMOs, 89 million, and shooters, 8 million.
Yes.
And as of this year, MOBAs are making...
501 million.
Versus...
Added a big 500 to that.
Yeah. Added a whole 500.
This is 499 for MMOs.
And 237 for shooters. So, I mean...
All of this has been climbing, like, big time.
Yeah.
In just the past, like, half a decade.
By 2003, you sort of see the MMO free-to-play microtransaction kind of get to as high as it's going to be.
Yeah.
Around there, because it gets to, like, 450.
Yeah.
But yeah, like... the MOBA stuff just keeps growing. And shooters, I guess, is also growing, and growing consistently. It's just a lot lower than everything else.
Yeah.
But then they did a breakdown on, like, what are people spending this money on, which I found super interesting.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Avatar cosmetics at the majority.
36% of all money spent microtransactions.
20% is to unlock heroes. In these games.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, that makes more sense to me.
You can play a lot to unlock heroes in these games as well. Like, that's possible, but, I mean, there's always there's the short route, which is how they make some of their money, when people just buy the character that they want.
13% for experience boosts. That makes sense to me.
Or currency.
10% for non-avatar cosmetics, which makes no sense to me, because I'm like, what?
What is that? I mean, is that like a HUD skin?
Probably.
Or something like that?
Or maybe your, if you have, like a home base type area in any of these games.
Like a background.
Yeah.
For your thing.
All I can think of is Animal Crossing and stuff for your house, but I know that's not what we're talking about.
Randomized items and game modes, both at 5%. Mm-hmm. 4% was esports related.
Oh,
I'm wondering if that means, like, money to get into a tournament or something?
Maybe.
Like tournament fees?
Yeah.
Possibly. 4% on account services, 2% on announcer packs, and 1% on portraits.
Only 1%?
Yep.
I assume that would be higher, considering
I assume
Avatar...
announcer packs would be higher. I feel like people buy those a lot because they want to have their favorite character as the announcer.
Mm.
But maybe those are super cheap too, though.
But no, the portrait thing... I mean, that would also probably be super cheap, but it's weird because Avatar Cosmetics is 36%, so you'd think portraits would be higher.
Right.
But yeah, so this is interesting to me, especially because, like, I have played some free-to-play MMOs before, and the only time I've ever spent money was for character unlocks, and I would always see cosmetic stuff and be like, who wastes their time with that?
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of people. But one of the things that... I was watching a video on about this, and they were talking about, like, all those Team Fortress hats.
Yeah.
They sell like hotcakes.
Team Fortress 2 is a hat simulator.
It's true.
Not a shooter. It's a hat-wearing simulator. And making. I play World of Tanks on and off, and that's a free-to-play, massive, I guess you'd count it as a shooter in this scenario. And in that, you can buy just, like, in-game currency for real money that can be used for all sorts of stuff. So, the cheapest little things you can get with it are cosmetic things, like camo patterns for the tank, or, like, little, like, inscriptions and emblems on them. And I've gotten a couple of those for, like, tanks that I play a lot. But overall, I haven't spent much money at all on that game. I think there were 2 times where I was playing it, like, a lot. And both of those times I spent a little money on the premium stuff. Or just like a premium account for like a month or something. So mostly, I mean, like, I guess I did spend a little bit on the cosmetic stuff, but not much out of the grand scheme of things. Most of what I spent was on, I guess you count it as in-game currency experience stuff. And I never bought any, there's premium tanks you can buy with real money, and I never bought any of those. I just got the ones that are in the game. That's my only real experience with this
stuff. Yeah. One of the things that this article points out that I think doesn't make any sense, like I don't understand their logic for it, is they talk about, like, they're like, oh, it makes sense that MOBAs are overtaking MMOs because they're so well positioned for these microtransactions. And then they say, as a quote from the article, MOBAs are exceptionally well positioned since they emphasize player investment and individual champions. Users find a champion that fits their playstyle and resonates thematically, which then leads to a deeper engagement over time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but isn't that exactly what MMOs do? Because your character is still the most important part of what you're doing in an MMO.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Crowfall, then it's a little different.
The only difference I can see is that your character in an MMO, unless you decide to roleplay your character constantly in the MMO, which there are servers for, obviously, your character lacks any kind of personality or depth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is my avatar, so I guess it's me that I'm putting all this stuff on. Whereas in Dota or League of Legends, you're playing a character that has a set personality, has a set design and style and attitude and all of that stuff. And I know for a fact that there are some Dota and League of Legends characters that people are freaking obsessed with. There is fan art, oodles and oodles of fan art, like all sorts of stuff. Fan tributes to characters, music videos, like ridiculous stuff. So I think it sounds silly when you first hear it, but they're kind of right. Like, I mean, people make a character, or like a character in an MMO, and then maybe they're like, I'm going to draw fan art of my character for my MMO, but then it's just for them. Whereas this, you have characters that are the same character, so multiple people get behind it, and it becomes this bigger thing.
I see. Alright. So,
I don't know. I don't find any of the characters in those games particularly appealing, but a lot of people do. So I think that's kind of what they're talking about. It's sort of a cult of personality sort of thing, where because there's more people getting attached to this character, it becomes like this bigger significance than it would just be like, this is my character, because no one else gives a crap about your MMO character. Like, you're just another Tauren in the crowd. Like,
but I'm a shaman.
Maybe you're a shaman, but who cares? They got nerfed. Except for healing.
So what I'm taking away from this is that we will see less free-to-play MMOs.
More MOBAs.
And way more MOBAs.
Which have already been on the climb. I mean, you look at Blizzard, that's basically what Overwatch is.
That's true.
Overwatch is like a MOBA shooter. So...
Get those microtransaction cosmetics.
Get out your wallets. Rev up those microtransactions.
This wouldn't be so depressing if I didn't hate MOBAs so much.
I know, me too. Ugh. Let's talk about Nintendo.
Oh, get into all our Nintendo junk.
A lot. Because there's a lot to say. There was a Nintendo Direct on April 1st.
Terrible.
We discussed this awful timing.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's a really bad idea. It announced some stuff. It was a lot of things we already knew about. A few new trailers for things we already knew about. A lot of amiibo features, in particular. But anyway, let's get into all this business. The first thing I want to talk about is
DNA.
DNA, spelled capital D, little e, capital N-A.
That's just annoying.
It is really annoying. I wasn't sure how to read it at first. DNA is a Japanese company that is responsible for creating the MOBA mobile games platform, because Japan loves to abbreviate things, which is a mobile games platform that is used all over the place in Japan right now to make cell phone games. This company also made some cell phone games on this of their own. Probably the most prominent of which is Rage of Bahamut, which is a card battle game that's super, super popular in Japan and has come out over in the West as well, and has found quite a bit of popularity over here too. They also ported Goddess in 2014. Good for them.
They probably did the best with what they had.
Right? So, Nintendo, it even tells Nintendo is 10% owner now of DNA.
Oh.
So Nintendo made a partnership with DNA in mid-March. Satoru Iwata said that he hoped the companies would release their first game this year and come to a mutual agreement about their business models. This is from an article on Polygon from also April 1st. So basically, this is the idea here is that we were talking last week about how Nintendo is probably actually getting into the mobile market and what Satoru Iwata said about his thoughts on free-to-play stuff, which was basically, I'm not going to call it free-to-play, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say free to start, and then we're going to do that. So that's the business model they're kind of contending with here because DNA's games are free-to-play in the way we think of it, with microtransactions left and right. So people have been calling for Nintendo to make its way into the mobile market for a few years now. They kept saying they weren't going to do it. Now it's pretty clear that they're taking it pretty seriously and planning on getting into this market.
You know what a lot of this week, and I guess last week because the mobile thing was technically from last week or the week before, but a lot of the Nintendo news can be summed up as stuff Nintendo said they weren't going to do, but are now doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it. You're right. We'll get to more of this. All Nintendo IPs said, this is the partnership announcement, all Nintendo IPs will be eligible for development and exploration by the Alliance.
Whoa.
Right? So what those games will be and who will star in them is a complete mystery. But it sounds like DNA has the full run of Nintendo's little pantry of characters here. You got Marios, you got your Star Foxes, you got your Links, you got your Zelders, you got all sorts you got your Splatoons.
Oh no.
Or Splatoon Mobile. So it remains to be seen what they will make, but maybe it won't be awful.
Yeah, I actually have a lot of faith in them making some fun mobile games.
I mean, I'm curious because as far as I know, DNA mostly does like card battle type games and things like that, and they picture Nintendo games as being more like adventure-y or platformy or something.
But you have stuff like Super Mario RPG.
That's true.
They could do something like that.
They also have been putting out putting out games such as Puzzle and Dragon is going to be coming out. So that's a very mobile game type puzzle game. They also put out that Pokemon game, Pokemon Puzzle League? No.
I don't know.
What's that game called?
Good question.
It's a Pokemon game where there's
little
round Pokemon faces and they drop down and you have to match them and catch Pokemon and stuff. It's very mobile gamey.
Yeah.
In the way it is, and it's a free-to-play thing. Pokemon Shuffle. That's the game.
Oh.
That just came out. So they've done some stuff like this already. And they've said they're putting out a few more of those little, free games and stuff. So, that could be just the beginning.
Although, one of the things, I was talking to you earlier, one of the things
Yes.
that seemed like was Nintendo was like, okay, we're going to make mobile games, but not us.
Yes.
We're not going to make the mobile games. We're hiring someone else to make it.
Yes. Let's talk about another thing that Nintendo said they weren't going to do and just did. On April 1st.
This is an article from Eurogamer.
Yep.
And it is about how Nintendo issued a takedown notice for Super Mario 64 HD project. For those who didn't know, there was a fan of Super Mario 64 who was making an HD version of the game, specifically of the first level.
He took Super Mario 64 and made it pleasant to look at.
Yeah.
Because it really wasn't before.
And he had, stuff up online. It was free to
he released
download.
Bob on Battlefield as a free, which is like the first level, as a free download. I think he planned on making doing the rest of the game.
Okay,
As
but I
far
don't
as I
think he
know.
was going to charge for it.
No.
And yeah, so Nintendo was like, our lawyers will have a word with you.
And this comes on the heels of Nintendo saying, we want fans to use our characters in fan projects.
Yeah, they did literally say that recently.
That is like a direct quote from Nintendo. I mean, I guess maybe they don't consider this a fan project because it's a reskin of their game.
Yeah, maybe.
But, come on.
There was, we actually, because we are on social media, we had posted this article to our Facebook.
Although, actually, it does say that it mentions a breach of copyright for the audiovisual work, computer program music, and fictional character depictions. So it sounds like the beef is that this guy just did a skin, basically, for the game.
Mm-hmm.
And used all the other elements from the original game.
All those assets.
So Nintendo's like, we want you to use our characters to make fan games, but you better not use our assets.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it comes off.
So it was, so we posted on Facebook this article, and I had been saying, like, yeah, okay, I guess technically it is a breach of copyright, but it's still a douche move by Nintendo.
It is.
One of our fans...
And even if it's not completely opposed to what they said they were going to do, like, it feels like it is.
Yeah.
And it's going to come off that way.
It's bad PR.
It's
right?
really bad.
Yeah. One of our fans noted that Nintendo does not even give a care that people are doing an English version of Mother 3.
I think that's done.
Oh, is it
It's
done?
been done
I gotta play that.
for a while,
I
actually.
gotta download that, John.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's you said there's a fan project of making a Mother 4 game as well.
Yep.
So it's like, come on, guys. Like, get it together, Nintendo.
Yep.
Can somebody please make a new F-Zero game?
Nintendo...
I guarantee you that Nintendo wouldn't care.
They totally wouldn't.
They would not.
Actually, you could just reskin the N64 F-Zero, then Nintendo might care, but they still probably wouldn't.
No.
This is the N64 F-Zero. Oh,
It's good.
this is real good.
It's good. The GameCube one's good, too. It's just hard as nails. He was so hard. Can't beat the second story mission. You can't do it. Samurai Goro gets me every time. Those game's cutscenes are ridiculous.
So yeah, this is a jerk move by Nintendo. We're not happy about it. And I feel bad for this guy. I hope they don't sue him.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to, but I don't think so, because that'd be sad. Real sad. On a lighter note, I'm very excited for the Mother 4 game, which is coming out this summer.
Oh, that is exciting.
Yeah.
You know what's not coming out this summer, or this year for that matter? The Legend of Zelda on the Wii U. Nintendo said it would be out by the end of the year, but now it's not.
No, it's not.
It also will not be at E3 this year.
Which means they got a lot to do on it.
Yeah. Aonuma himself said, I don't want to show people a game that I can't be proud of. So clearly it's not done enough that he wants to show it off to anyone.
And then what if he never shows his face?
Like it never comes out?
He's never proud of it.
He's never...
I'm not saying it doesn't come out. I'm saying
just hangs his head in shame.
Lets the kid comes out, but he won't show anything.
We'll never see him again.
Because he
goes into the back of Nintendo's office and just plays a pipe organ for the rest of his career. And no one ever sees him again.
Because of his honor. So I think the big shock to me is not this news, but it was the original news when they said it was coming out in 2015.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that as well.
Yeah.
Because when they initially showed it, there's the little video of him initially showing it off down here. It was nowhere near done.
I mean, it looked pretty.
It looked pretty. And then they showed it off more at the Game Awards.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Video Game Awards, and it still did not look finished at all. Like, not even a little bit. It was neat, and they showed off some cool stuff, but that game is not anywhere near completion, and you can tell when you see clips from it. Because the first video they showed was clearly just a pre-put together, like pre-rendered video. Then the actual gameplay they showed at the Game Awards looked way worse graphically and everything. So that was clearly the actual game running at that time. And they showed so little too that it's like, So Aonuma said specifically, as I've watched our development progress, I've come to think that rather than work with meeting a specific schedule, and releasing a game that reflects only what we can create within that time. I feel strongly that our focus should be to bring all these ideas to life in a way that will make Legend of Zelda the best game it can possibly be. So he's basically saying, I don't like that we're limited on time here. I want us to have as much time as we need to actually make the game as good as it should be. Which is legitimate. It's just, they shouldn't have announced a 2015 release date.
That was a goof on their part.
They really shouldn't have. And I feel like Aonuma should have known at that time that doing that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because he knew how far along the game was.
He Molyneux'd it.
He Molyneux'd it.
Mm.
I hope... Do you think you can plant a tree and watch it grow in this game?
You probably can, actually.
Plant
Wait, can't you do that in other Zelda games? Can't you plant things and watch them grow?
Actually, you can.
Yeah. So they've already got that covered.
Step it up, Peter. Jeez. Nintendo's made you look like a chump. They made you look like a chump like 7 years before Fable came out.
That's true.
Whoa.
But yeah, out of all the Nintendo news, I think this bothers me the least.
Me too. Because I'm gonna play this game, but I'm not desperate for it.
Yeah, we can wait. It's
fine.
It
would make me mad if they delay Star Fox.
Oh yeah.
I want Wii U Star Fox. I don't know why, but I just do.
Well, also because if they're making Star Fox the way it was intended, they're making a rail shooter, and rail shooters are way easier to make than open world fantasy games.
Actually probably be super sweet on the Wii U.
Oh yeah.
If they do something cool with the gamepad there, which they totally could, that's going to be a fun game. And I mean, I still just pop in Star Fox 64 and play through it every so often. It takes like an hour to beat. It's a really good time.
That relates to some of our later news about their press conference.
Oh yes, it does. Amiibos. There's more stuff about Amiibos. Nintendo's still doing a bad job distributing Amiibos.
Really?
And GameStop is doing a really bad job taking pre-orders for Amiibos. No. So up for reservation today, as in yesterday, April 2nd. This is a Polygon article. GameStop's website just went nuts. It went down when Amiibo pre-orders opened.
Was this a DDoS attack?
For Ness, Robin, Charizard, Pac-Man, Lucina, Wario, Inkling, the Splatoon ones. The Splatoon 3-packs. Okay.
Oh.
I was like, what the heck was Inkling?
No one went on the website for the Splatoon one.
No, everybody went on for Lucina and Charizard.
Totally.
And probably Ness, actually.
I would enjoy having a little Ness guy.
Yeah. No one went for Wario or Pac-Man. I would go for Wario.
Yeah, I would go for Wario.
Wario's great.
I wouldn't go for Pac-Man, don't care.
Pac-Man is fun to play as in that game.
Actually. Oh, I'm sure he is.
It's really cool. So as of us writing, GameStop says that their website is down for improvements and directs visitors to check out Congregate.com in lieu of doing that stuff. Just go to Congregate and play free games, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So apparently, though, some of the people collecting Amiibos had some success with them at pre-orders at retail stores. But obviously people just are still just not finding them. And they continue to be exclusive. Jigglypuff is an exclusive at Target, and Greninja is going to be an exclusive at Toys R Us. So the ability for people to get all these Amiibos is still way more difficult than it should be. Come on, guys.
Is there still problems with shipping? Is like that strike?
I mean, it could be.
Maybe?
But I feel like they're just not making enough. Even. It's weird.
Well, it's weird to me that they were like, it didn't work last time because there was a strike. And I'm like, okay, so does that mean...
The strike might still be going.
I wouldn't be surprised if the strike was still going, but if you're Nintendo, then that means the next time you release them, you need to have a different plan to compensate for the strike.
How PSN keeps getting hacked. It's like, how have you guys not found a solution to this yet?
As a side note,
free game.
As a side note, please do DDoS GameStop's website, please. Lizard Squad, get on this.
Do it, Lizard Squad. It's a good cause. All right, back to Nintendo doing things they said they weren't going to do. Nintendo is taking suggestions on new Super Smash Bros. Characters in an online ballot. I'm actually going to go to the game's website right now.
It's DDoSed, I'm sorry.
And check out this ballot. So this is from an article from
Polygon from the first.
From the first, again. So for anyone who somehow didn't know, Mewtwo is going to be returning to Smash Bros. As DLC come March something.
Yeah, when did that get announced? Didn't that get announced like a little while ago?
Mewtwo got announced a while ago, like when the game came out. But he is releasing sometime this month, I believe. I think he's going to be up on like the 15th. I want to say. And then they apparently announced at the end of the Nintendo Direct that another new character, well, new quote unquote character, is going to be joining the fighters in Smash Bros. And that is Lucas. So we got our Nest clone back. But
oh, good, because we didn't have enough clones in that game.
The reason that this is like a big deal, though, is that when they were asked about it, because they were like, "We're doing Mewtwo as DLC." People were like, "Oh my god, we're getting more DLC characters! This is awesome!" And Nintendo was quick to say, "We are not making any more DLC characters."
Yeah, just Mewtwo. That's it.
That's it. Sorry.
Which led us to speculate at the time that they rushed the game out because they originally intended Mewtwo. But no, probably not. I guess they just always wanted lots of DLC.
Yeah. So now we get Lucas.
Either way, it's douchey, Nintendo.
Yeah.
This isn't cool.
So we're only going to get these two, but we're not, I guess, because they're taking this ballot poll.
Which means there's going to be at least one other one, and and assuming that sells well, there will be more.
I'm going to fill this out right now. Let's see.
You're not going to get it.
I am male. I want Ridley from Super Metroid. Why should this character become a fighter?
All caps, because
Zero Suit Samus doesn't count as a second Metroid rep. And he is not too big. You have Bowser in there. For heaven's sake. He was like 50 feet tall in Sunshine.
This is like poetry, Dan. You put there twice.
That's an all. I don't care.
They deserve
Nintendo can read it. I'm submitting it twice to make sure.
We're submitting this live on air.
Yes. There you go. Go to the Smash website, vote on the ballot, vote for Ridley. Inundate them with Ridley requests. I don't care that he's already a boss character in one of the stages of the games. I want 2 Ridleys on screen, minimum, all time.
Yes, totally.
I don't want you to see anything but Ridley.
Everyone plays as Ridley's in the zone.
Pterodactyls all day.
Yeah. Amazing.
It'd be so confusing. So yeah. So this, I think, is kind of cool news. Because, there's potential for more. I'm just currently unimpressed with it. Because Mewtwo's neat, Mewtwo's fine. I can get him back and pretend Lucario's not even in the game. And then Lucas I couldn't care less about. But the potential for other things now is interesting, especially considering they are taking a poll.
Yeah, like that's...
And I'm curious to see what the result of the poll will end up being.
That's good. It just annoys me because they're going back on what they said.
Yeah, it's like, just tell us. Like, just say things. Was there anything else from the Direct we wanted to mention?
Well, what I was going to say when you were talking about Star Fox...
Oh, that's right.
Is that N64 games are coming to the Virtual Store.
Which is neat, finally.
And wasn't there another system games that were coming as well? I don't remember.
N64 and DS games. As well, which is also cool.
So soon you'll probably be able to play Star Fox on your Virtual console.
There's a new Fatal Frame game coming to the US.
You won't have to worry about blowing on the cartridge repeatedly to get it to work.
It always works, though. Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem crossover got a new little trailer. It's really weird.
There was like a ton of Amiibo news, which was super
Tons of Amiibo
annoying.
News about the cards and Yarn Yoshi and...
Oh, the stupid card
racing suits, the Splatoon,
the freaking marshmallow,
the card marshmallow reader, the Wi-Fi card reader. So you get your DS, you get your marshmallow machine, you get your card. These are 3 separate pieces that you must place next to one another to properly play the new Animal Crossing game, I guess.
Someone's going to lose one or all of those pieces.
Yeah, definitely. Codename Steam's getting patched to get rid of its annoying feature of having to watch your enemy's movements. The awful Attack on Titan video game for the DS is coming out over here now. Nobody buy it. It's not good.
Because
I'll tell you that right now.
when really great games come out in Japan, they won't port them.
No.
But when really bad ones come out...
Hey man, Attack on Titan's big right now. That stuff sells.
It's so hot.
We need more bad 3DS games to take advantage of people.
Attack on Titan's so hot right now.
Like, it is. I don't care if you like Attack on Titan or not. I do like Attack on Titan. I'm staying the hell away from this game. Like, don't support this game. If you want an Attack on Titan video game, you wait till they make a good one.
It's true, especially if you're a real fan of Attack on Titan, you're just going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt even more.
I'll spoil it for you right now. The game is pretty much all visual novel segments, and then parts where you zip around on a cord and do quick time events to kill a Titan. That's it. That's the game. It has co-op, I guess. Whatever. Xenoblade Chronicles 3D is coming out on April 10th. If you have a new 3DS. Like the new 3DS.
What about a new used 3DS?
No.
Oh.
You mean a used new 3DS?
Maybe. What about a 3DS XLI Majora's Mask Edition?
Majora's Mask Edition. Sure. I'm sure it'll work on that.
What about the ones that don't have a hinge?
What is this, the 2DS? Can I get 2 3DSs? No, I mean 3 2DSs. I don't know what I want anymore. Which one of these plays Pokemon?
All of them.
All of them?
But in some of those Pokemon, you can't walk diagonally.
So that's actually the end of... That blew my mind. I played the newest Pokemon title and I could walk diagonally, and I was like, what is this? What is happening to me?
It's a whole new dimension.
I know, it was crazy. I wasn't even playing it on my 2DS. I didn't even turn the 3D on my 3DS.
Oh my god.
So that's the end of our long tirade of Nintendo news.
Finally.
Yeah, so much disappointment and just confusion. You know what is going to be awesome, I hope? Star Wars Battlefront.
Hopefully.
The new ones.
Yeah.
Oh, Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2 are so good. They're so good.
It's true.
They're really fun. So I want this game to succeed. I want it to be great. But how's about this? If you were as disappointed as we were at how little was shown of it at E3.
We were a little upset.
I was pretty upset. Well, if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area or Vancouver, you can sign up for the EA Canada or EA Redwood Shores game sessions for playtesting. And you can go to EA's headquarters in those areas and play Star Wars Battlefront.
That's cool.
It's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
They're kind of doing like a public beta in this way. It's super neat. The Battlefield guys are working on this. People who made Battlefield and Mirror's Edge. It's slated for a holiday 2015 release, apparently. Cool. That's good.
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't know about that.
Considering
they've shown like nothing of it.
And I know that there's a Star Wars celebration coming up, and I've heard rumors that they're going to show a bunch of gameplay at that.
That would make sense.
But that's the first time they're showing gameplay?
We've seen like nothing.
For this upcoming holiday season? No. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all.
It's going to get pushed back. But I do really want it.
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront's awesome. So last week I talked about Pillars of Eternity.
No, you didn't. I stopped you from talking about it.
Well, I did still talk about it.
Oh, okay. Sure you did.
All I wanted to say about Pillars of Eternity was it's a cool, isometric, D&D styled adventure game a la Baldur's Gate 2.
Planescape Torment.
Planescape Torment, that game's awesome. The game's got writing.
For the hardcore fans, Planescape Torment.
So much good writing. You can win that whole game without fighting anything. It's awesome. That's crazy.
Which is especially crazy because that game is super grimdark.
Yeah. But you can build your character for like any stat and like do everything. Like there's actually a reason to have a high intelligence in that game. You get things for being smart or charismatic. So Pillars of Eternity came out. This game was kickstarted, came out, and it's a good game, but it is plagued with some pretty serious bugs. The most serious of which, and I didn't know about this last week when I was talking up the game, so now I would say, maybe wait to buy and play this until they patch it, which they do plan on doing. I'm definitely going to wait at this point. The biggest bug here is a bug which removes all passive, racial, and permanent buffs from characters forever. So this bug, if this bug occurs, your characters lose all of their passive abilities, racial abilities, all that stuff, and will not get them back. This is permanent. No matter what you do, they'll be gone forever, unless you have a save from before this happened that you can reload. The real problem of this bug, though, is how it's triggered. Because usually bugs like this are triggered from some weird circumstance or whatever. This bug is triggered by double-clicking.
But you never double click.
PC game.
Yeah, you never do that in PC games, right?
Yeah, PC game in which there's a feature to double click to equip things to your character. So this is bad. Like, I don't know how this was not fixed before release. Like, this is a heinous bug to release a game with. And it's not, if that's what triggers it, and tons of people have been experiencing it, this was not a hard bug to find.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think there's really an excuse for this.
I cut a little slack for them because they're an indie studio, but not that much because they had a very successful Kickstarter and spent a long time on this game.
It was by Obsidian. They're not really indie.
Oh, that's true. It is Obsidian, isn't it? I keep forgetting they were the ones who did this.
Yeah.
Obsidian, you should know better.
Well, and the thing that also annoys me about it is usually Obsidian's really good. Obsidian is really good at making RPGs.
Yeah.
They definitely are. And usually the problem is that they have a company producing their game who pushes it out the door.
Yeah.
And Obsidian, for whatever reason, they make great games, but they seem like they always take a really long time to make them. And all their games get pushed out the door unfinished. KOTOR 2 is like the biggest example of that.
Totally.
That game was, they flat out said a few months after that game came out, we didn't finish it. We couldn't finish it. Then there's also, even Fallout New Vegas has a lot of parts that show that, like, clearly not everything they wanted to do is in there. So Obsidian is kind of plagued by this. So I was kind of hoping that since they had more free reign with this, as it was a Kickstarter, that this game would release mostly bug-free and really good. We got the really good part. We did not get the mostly bug-free part.
Nope.
Which is kind of... It's upsetting. Because I wanted to put more stock in Obsidian being able to do this without, big money man producer breathing down their neck to push the game out the door. But then they kind of didn't.
Obsidian, you Molyneuxed it.
They Molyneuxed it. They dropped the ball. Why is this entire week's podcast about people dropping the ball?
We're not really none of our news is even about Molyneux, but it's all about Molyneux.
Molyneuxed. They Molyneuxed it all up. Molyneux.
That 7. I wish that wasn't so hard to say.
Yeah, Molyneux. So Pillars of Eternity. Cool game. Play it when it's fixed. Would be my recommendation. Because these bugs are bad. And Obsidian, I think, deserves people's money for this game. I don't think they deserve it until they have fixed their game, though. Like, if you want people's money for this product, you need to give them a working product.
Well, that's certainly how we've always felt about AAA titles, but,
Yeah.
That's never how most people think of AAA.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Unity. Halo 5 Guardians got some ads.
Yeah. So they're...
See you next week, everyone.
If only we had started the show with that.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, so Halo 5 Guardians has a dual ad that they came out with. One for Mr. Chef.
Yes.
And one for Spartan Locke.
Now, I don't remember exactly who this Locke guy is.
Now, I believe who Spartan Locke is, and I'm not 100% sure because I haven't watched it, but the live action Halo TV show. I think he's the main character in that.
Okay.
But again, like, I haven't seen that show, and this makes sense because when they were interviewing the guy who plays Locke in the show, he talked about how it was going to be important to the next Halo game.
Okay.
So
you got to get people to watch that bad show somehow.
Somehow. With the worst CGI ever.
Oh.
But yeah, so the trailers are about 1 minute and 25 seconds each.
Yeah.
And one of them is Mr. Chef walking through a barren...
Captain King.
Yeah, walking through a barren wasteland.
And then he sees a guy.
He's soliloquizing.
Yes, as he is wont to do.
As he is wont to do. Thinking back to the original Halo, like that was so something that Master Chief did not do.
I know, right? Remember when he was just a dude in armor and they were like, Master Chief, you've got to kill the aliens before they kill us. And then you did, and then you crashed on the Halo, and they're like, we're on the Halo. And Cortana was like, I think that we're on the Halo.
And the person who talked the whole time was Cortana, because Master Chief would only have a couple of lines.
Yeah.
And that's what would make them cool.
He's like, I don't like aliens.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Master Chief, you're so cool.
But anyway, so in this trailer, he's soliloquizing about, I don't know, philosophy and junk.
Sure, because that's what Halo's really about.
Yeah, and then he walks
Remember
up...
when you played Halo and then read Aristotle?
Then he walks...
And you were like, it's the same thing.
I mean, it pretty much is. Then he walks up to this busted-up statue of him, and...
Why is there a statue of him?
Because everyone loves Mr. Chef.
Was this on Earth?
It must have been. I guess that's what the trailer is telling us.
I assumed it was on a Halo ring, because every time they tell us we're going to be on Earth, we're just on a Halo ring.
Spoilers.
I remember Halo 2. They were like, this game's going to take place on Earth. And you play like one mission on Earth.
Oh, that's true, yeah, the beginning is on Earth, and then the rest is on a Halo ring.
Well, the beginning's in space.
Oh, well, that's
then
true.
You have a level on Earth, and then you're on Halo again.
Anyway, so he walks up to the statue. He sees Spartan Locke all busted up at the bottom of the statue, and then he's like, "I'm going to shoot you," and then it ends.
I'm going to shoot you with my Halo 1 zoom pistol.
We don't know that was a Halo 1 pistol.
It is,
but it should have been.
It was,
because that's the only way he's going to kill him with it.
I want to believe.
The other trailer is exactly the same thing, except instead of Mr. Chef walking through this desolate wasteland soliloquizing, it's Spartan Locke.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chef is the one at the base of the statue who's all beat up and is about to be shot.
Is the statue still with Master Chief?
I think it is, yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Should have been
is this like, are we going to get some like alternate timelines going on here?
Yeah,
is this, like,
I mean,
Earth 1 Master Chief?
That's the speculation, is that it's going to be
a diverging story.
Yeah, like you can play it one way with one character, and then you can play it as a different character.
Spartan Locke, the super cool original TV character, and have Master Chief just look like a dingus the whole game. That's kind of funny, actually.
That is fun.
So yeah, if you really like Halo still somehow, play Destiny.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's coming out. What games we got coming out in the next couple weeks? Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin on PS4 and Xbone. You can play Dark Souls 2 again, but with way better graphics and new enemy placement and all sorts of stuff like that. And all the DLC included. It's like Game of the Year edition, basically.
Yeah.
Bastion's coming out on PS4. That's cool. Scholar of the First Sin actually comes out a week earlier on PC.
It's already out on PC.
You're right! Oh my god.
Magic.
That's fine, I have Bloodborne, it's fine. Anything else?
I mean, there isn't much coming out right now.
No, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on the 10th.
Age of Wonders 3.
Yeah.
On the 14th.
I mean, 14th has Mortal Kombat
Grand
X.
Theft Auto 5 finally comes to Windows.
PC, yep.
On the 14th.
And Mortal Kombat X and Titan Souls.
Wait, Knights of Penelope 2 comes out on the 14th?
Oh, snap.
I'm excited. The 14th, there's a lot of great stuff coming out on the 14th, actually, which we will probably still be previewing next week because it won't have been the 14th yet.
That's right. Oh my god, look what's coming out TBA in April. Goat Simulator on the Xbone.
Excellent.
I'm going to say it now because it's still TBA, so it could come out tomorrow.
Yes! Or it could have already come out. Actually, April Fool's would be a really good day for that game.
Goat Simulator to release on Xbox One.
Definitely. So we are out of time now.
Yes, we are. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, this has been Don't Copy That Floppy with your hosts, Lex and Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, what are some of the social media we're on?
We are on most of the social media.
Thanks, Dan.
We're on iTunes, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we are on Facebook, and we are on something else that I'm forgetting right now. We're Don't Copy... Oh, Steam.
Steam.
We're Don't Copy That Floppy on all of those things except for Twitter, where we are at DCTF Podcast. We are not on Google Plus because nobody is.
No one cares about Google Plus. Google's succeeded doing a lot of things, but making a social media site was not.
Hey, you guys, have you heard about Google Plus? Would you like to join? It's really fun.
Nope.
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 No one.
Why are you doing
Not a single person.
Crickets.
Okay. So with that, we will see y'all next week with more video game news. And remember,
Don't copy that floppy.